Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in the last video, we talked about what is content marketing, right? Content marketing is the process of creating content that your ideal customer would find valuable. But I feel like I may have either left some stuff out of it, or I just really want to dive into some great detail as far as what you really need to do to start doing your content marketing, right? Because I covered how to make videos and content with your cell phone. I covered what you need to do for blogs, but I think there's probably a lot more detail that I could go into that you'll probably find tremendous value on. And it takes a little while to learn this, and this video is going to massively expedite your entire content marketing journey. So right off the bat, the first thing is figure out what your ideal customer is asking. So what does that mean? Most of the time, if you're in business, people are going to ask you a variety of questions. One of those questions specifically is going to be, what are you going to do? Right? Or what do you sell? The second one is, how does it help me? And the third one is, that's a weird three, but the third one is, who is your ideal customer, right? Or why should I buy this product? These are all really valuable questions. But what people don't realize is not only those are the most important questions, but there's a slew of questions that people ask following that entire process. So if you own a storefront and you have people coming in the store, they're, what's good for hair growth? Or what's good for clothing in rainy days? What's good for a cold environment? All of these different questions come up in a variety of different industries. So regardless of what industry you're in, start to take note at what questions people ask you on a regular basis. Now, if they ask one person and one person just happens to say it and you've been in business for 10 years, you could probably not make some content on that one question, but you're going to realize that you get the same questions over and over and over and over again. For example, what is content marketing? I just made a video about it. It's creating content that answers people's questions and helps them find you and prove that you're the expert, right? That is what content marketing is. But now there's so many other questions that I get. How do you do SEO? How do you run a Facebook group? How do you run social media? How do you actually get found online? These are all questions that kind of piece by piece, brick by brick, build a foundation for what you can make content on. And that's the best part. So content marketing is literally free for the most part. Chances are pretty good you already have a website if you're watching this. Chances are pretty good you already have a cell phone if you're watching this. So adding a blog to your website should be free or almost free, and creating videos on your phone is going to be free with YouTube and being able to be found. Now, I would throw podcasting much so in a similar spot and TikTok, but I'm gonna focus on YouTube and blogging because those are the two most common ways and probably the two most powerful ways to get found for years and years and years to come. So think about all those questions first, right? What questions are people asking you? Make a list. I typically, when I work with my customers, especially if I'm doing coaching, I say make a list of 100. And don't come back to me until you have 100, because I don't want somebody to come back to me with a list of 10 questions, right? And the other thing you have to think about is, yes, I know that you probably know the answer, right? That's why you do what you do, right? You know the answer to the questions that they're asking. But there's a difference between a 30-second answer, a 1-minute answer, a 5-minute answer, and a 10-minute answer, right? So think about that, right? If I said, hey, how do you change a tire? You go to the back of the car, you grab the spare tire, you jack up your car, you take the old tire off, you put the new tire on, boom, now you have a new tire and you can drive. It's called a donut, and you gotta be really careful. You don't wanna drive too fast and you wanna go get your old tire fixed. Done. That's a 30-second answer. But if somebody said, hey, how do you go change a tire, right? Well, first you want to locate where the tire is in your car. Chances are pretty good it's in the back, either under the trunk or underneath the car. Once you've located it, take that out. There's also going to be some appliances and tools that you can then remove from the vehicle. Take those appliances, tools, set them up outside of your car, underneath the car, locate the jack points that you would find in the user's manual in the car, and jack the car up. After that, use one of the bars and pry and start to loosen the lug nuts off of that tire. Once you remove the 5 or 6 or potentially 4 lug nuts, remove that tire. That tire is no longer useful, and you know that that's the bad tire. Take the time, put that tire back in your car, and make sure you secure it. God forbid you have to stop short. You don't want it flying around in your car. Next, make sure you keep those lug nuts in your pocket. Take the new donut, which is called. They call it a donut for, actually I'm not exactly sure what the reason is, but it's typically a steel rim. You're going to put it on your car. You're going to then put the lug nuts, hand tighten them first, and then tighten it up with one of the provided wrenches that they give you. After doing that, slowly lower your car down, put everything back to the way it belongs, back in your car, and drive yourself immediately to a tire repair station, because you don't want to drive more than 75 or 100 miles on a donut. This could be dangerous. Those tires are really only made for emergency situations. After you do that, take your donut. The tire shop will take your donut off and put your old new tire, or if you need a new tire, back on your car, and then you should be good to go with a clean bill of health. Right? That's a much more detailed version of this. Now, you could keep getting more and more granular, right? But if somebody has a Honda Accord from 2013, aka myself, and I said, hey, how do I change a tire, or how do I know what this light is? Yes, sometimes I do need a 30-second answer. The part is with your 30-second answer, that should be in the beginning, right? Oh, this is how you change the tire. You're going to take it out of the back of your car. You're going to take the tire off. You're going to put the new tire on, and then you're good to go. And just make sure you bring everything back in your car. Right? That's your 30-second. That's like a 10-second answer. But that's your 30-second answer. That should be right in the beginning of it. But then throughout the entire process, you're breaking down each and every single part of the process. So that way, anybody reading that blog, writing that content, or even you're not writing the content, you're watching the content, can know exactly what needs to be done when it comes through this entire process. And sometimes, and this, I'm just using a tire example, sometimes people want a lot more detail, right? I was in the process of making bread. I have a couple videos back of me making bread, and really the whole process of a little bit of content marketing and how to get found and how to make it so your articles provide more customers. But making bread is a really difficult process. Those blogs are 2, 3, 4, 5,000 words long, because it's a very technical and very strenuous and tedious process, because sometimes you have to let the bread rise at a certain amount, and there's health checks that you have to see and make sure you meet. That way you actually get the best quality product possible. So think about this when you're answering those questions. Yes, you could always give a 30-second answer. I actually dealt with a lawyer a while ago who had a massive issue, and he's like, hey, I'm running out of, I don't have any more leads. I can't really do anything. And I was like, look, I'd love to work with you. I think we can make a lot of work here, and I think I could probably bring in a lot of customers. This is what we're going to have to do. And for whatever reason, he could never give me more than a 2-minute answer on some of the most complex legal issues possible. It was so frustrating. I'm like, no, you need to give me the whole enchilada. I need everything. I need you to give me as much detail as humanly possible, because when I have that, then not only can I go break that content down into multiple pieces of content down the road, but when somebody actually wants the answers, they want to know that you know every single step to the entire process, right? The proof is in the pudding. I'm making 120 YouTube videos because I firmly believe in content marketing. I have 80 blogs on my company website and 240 blogs on my personal website. It is something that I practice and I preach. That is why I'm doing all of these activities, right? These content creation bits. For you, this very much so falls in the same process, right? You need to be able to take your questions that you're getting asked on a regular basis and start to break that down into 5, 10, 15, 20-minute long videos. Some of my videos are 20, 25 minutes long, and I'm okay with that, because the text and what I'm explaining is extremely intricate. And that is something that not everybody can understand. Yeah, I could talk about a funnel. You bring a customer all the way through the funnel, and at the bottom you have sales, right? That's the overview of a funnel. But how do you get customers in? Well, you drive ads, you make a couple blogs, you maybe go on a couple guest podcasts, a variety of other areas to drive traffic into the top of the funnel. But that doesn't break down how you go do it. That doesn't break down why it's important. That doesn't break down the result and the math behind the whole process that you need to shoot for, right? This is the process of content marketing. So it doesn't matter if you're making blogs, or it doesn't matter if you're making YouTube videos. The first step is asking and figuring out the 100 questions that people ask all the time. If you don't think you have 100 questions, go ask all of your friends and all of your family. Tell them what you're doing and ask them if they have any questions. Grab a pen and paper. I thought I had a pen and paper on here. Grab pen and paper and jot down every single thing that they ask. Every single question. Go through. What color is it? How does it work? What are the dimensions? Why would I want to buy this? What issues does this solve? How long does it break? What is your guarantee? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And every single person's industry is going to be very different than those questions. Maybe it's yoga, right? Should I do yoga? Can yoga fix back pain? Can yoga fix knee pain? Can yoga make me actually more flexible? Can yoga make me reach both their arms above my shoulders without it pinching my shoulder blades? These are all questions that people are asking on a regular basis. And it's up to you through content marketing to break this down. Now you might be thinking, okay, Harrison, well, that's great. Now that I have 100 questions, right? What's my next step? The next step is to go do the work, right? Nobody wants to see a 30-second blurb on how to answer these questions. And quite honestly, Facebook and Instagram are dead. They don't show your content ever after you post it. It's maybe got a lifespan of 24 hours. The video that you're currently watching is currently being released in the beginning of May, but this video will work for years and years and years and years to come. And that's the difference between content marketing and social media and other various outlets. Facebook ads are great, but they're also expensive. Google ads are great, but they're also expensive. Content marketing, free. Takes a long time to get there. But once the leads start coming in and once you start building a following more and more, I was driving for 12 hours yesterday and I picked up 3 new subscribers during that time. Appreciate you guys, by the way. That is the beauty of it. And over time, for years and years and years to come, that is how you're going to build more and more traffic. It shows that you're an industry expert. It shows that, hey, you know what you're talking about and you can provide the actual answers that people have, and you're constantly working and showcasing your products. That's the best part. My product is me and my agency, right? I don't really have any other products. Yeah, I'm putting together an SEO course, link down below, shameless plug, but that's it. That is how you showcase and teach people how to do these things. So whatever you teach or whatever you do or whatever you sell, think about all the questions that people ask you and then start writing bits of blogs, bits of content, bits of YouTube. I say bits, I mean, they should all be 1,000+ words, and YouTube videos should be like at least 7 minutes long. And really go into the nitty-gritty details. And your first blog or your first video is going to be really difficult and probably kind of awkward. Not everybody's really comfortable with being on camera or being in front of people, and I get that. I remember my first YouTube video, I was shaking after it, and now I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go record a video. Let me just close that door. Now I'm in my old office. That's why you guys heard that little beep. But that's it. I don't even have to think about it. I know what I'm gonna talk about. I might read a couple notes beforehand, and then I just come in front of the camera. I've gotten so used to doing after 150 videos and 130 podcasts that I could just, on the fly, jump right into it. That's the beauty of it. And you get better and better and better. And your first pieces of content are going to stink. It's okay. After you do it for a while, you're going to get much, much, much better. Now, how do I know this? There was a great study done by Harvard. And I can't quite exactly find all the details of the exact study because nobody's actually mentioned the name of it, but I've seen it on dozens of YouTube channels at this point, so I'm pretty confident it existed at one point or another. But what happened was a Harvard class split up a group of students into 2 groups. They had Group A and Group B. Group A was you had to take the best quality picture you could possibly take, right? And you only had to produce 1 picture. That's it. Nothing else. There was no other requirements. The second group of people, Group B, was graded, and their final project was creating as many pieces of content as humanly possible, right? They had a whole semester to do this. So Group A, the best quality picture they can make, and Group B, the most amount of quantity that they could take. So at the end of the semester, they all came out and they showed the professor, and the professor goes, wow. And he compared, and the Group B, after doing 100, some people were doing 200 pictures throughout the entire process, their end pictures were significantly better than Group A. And that's exactly what content marketing is. Your first blogs, your first YouTube videos, your first TikToks, your first podcasts are going to stink, and that's part of it. You have to get used to it. It's like taking a shower, putting your pants on. You got to just get used to it. And then over time, doing it over and over and over again, that's when you're going to get much better at it. So don't stress in the beginning. If you don't have cash, go do these things. And this is going to tremendously increase your profits, your visibility online, and you're going to start to build customers from the best spot ever, which is the internet, because they can come from anywhere and shop for your products. So I hope this video helps. I hope this explains a little more about what you need to do and the first step in the entire process that you need to do. Everything else, Google and the algorithms will take care of, but it's up to you to take that first step, create that content, go get all that at least 100 questions. Heck, if you end up with 200 questions, and then just start going through and knocking off, okay, question 1, question 2, question 3. If you don't want to answer question 4, skip it and go back. Question 5, question 6, all the way to 100. I do it all the time for myself. Anytime somebody asks me a question, I have a notepad in my phone that I jot it down. I could be sitting there, I'll be driving, I'll pull over and I'll put down a little note in there, or I'll tell Siri to remind me over it. I mean, I used to have a whiteboard, or not a whiteboard, I used to have my mirror with a white dry erase marker in my bathroom, and I would write on it when I had a good idea in the shower, because I was like, oh my God, somebody asked me this and I forgot about it. Let me make sure I write it down. And then I made a piece of content about it. That is literally how I've made most of my content. I was just having a conversation with somebody. Hey man, how do I do content marketing? I'm broke right now. I don't know what to do with my business. This is what you need to do, right? And now this is the first step in doing it. What are people asking? Anything that you can make content about, and the more content, the better, because you're going to get better throughout the entire process, right? That's the best thing in the world. And then 2, you might answer a bunch of people's questions along the way, and that's going to provide value, which makes you look like the brand expert, and people want to buy your products because you are the expert. So I hope this video helps. I hope you guys found value in this. Hit that like button, little subscribe button, and the little notification bell. I'll see you guys later.